going on, Jerome's? We know that Kwesi adofo-mensah loves making moves at the NFL trade deadline, as evidenced by the Cam Akers trade yesterday. Again, it's really funny how the Vikings traded for the same player 2 years in a row, but I'm all for it, man. But Kwesi, I feel like he wants to make that blockbuster move at the deadline. He wants more TJ Hockenson 2022 trade deadline deals versus Cam Akers and Josh Dobbs in 2023 trade deadline deals. So, yes, pie in the sky thinking, oh, Quinnen Williams, oh, Dexter Lawrence, oh, Myles Garrett, right? And I'm firmly ready to go because the Vikings have this beautiful chance to win a Super Bowl. And frankly, yeah, they have a first-round pick next year, but it's probably going to be 32, and they don't have a day 2 selection right now until comp picks come in. But also, I do not care. At this point, the roster is deep, and also the Vikings have a ton of cap space to be able to supplement the rooster. So, F them picks. Like, I want a true talisman along the defensive line. It can be edge, it can be interior. It really does not matter. And enter one Maxx Crosby, right? Because obviously Dexter Lawrence is going to be great. I don't know if the Giants move him, and the Jets still think that they could win. We'll see. Myles Garrett. I just hope that Myles Garrett doesn't go to the Lions. That's it, man. But and yeah, Kwesi does have those connection with the Browns. But I feel like Maxx Crosby is the way to go, and I absolutely love and adore him as a player. Major respect. Love him coming out of Eastern Michigan, and I understand that the Vikings have Grenard and AVG and Turner and blah blah blah. But guess what? You adapt your scheme to your players, and Brian Flores is one of the best defensive minds in the game right now, and he would find a spot for Maxx Crosby. I just have this little inkling that Maxx Crosby will be able to find his way in this defense and just wreck fools. It'd be fantastic, man. And also, never sleep on, hey, that guy played well against us scouting. Because remember, in the 3-0 debacle, where the Vikings covered the 2.5-point spread last year in Vegas, Crosby had 8 pressures and 2 sacks, so that's pretty good. So let's talk about Maxx Crosby today. Background: 27 years young, a 6'5", 255, former 2-star recruit from Colleyville, Texas. Now, he ended up at Eastern Michigan. He was born in Michigan. They moved to Texas. And here's what's interesting. I'm paraphrasing the story because I think I saw it on College Game Day. Crosby was a 2-star recruit, was very lightly recruited. I believe him and his mom just drove up to Eastern Michigan and was like, hey, can we please have a scholarship? And the coach was like, yeah. Hell yeah. So only FBS program that gave Maxx Crosby a scholarship. Nailed it. And he turned into a 2-time first-team All-MAC, dominated for the Eagles, and I loved him in the 2019 draft. Called him Baby Jared Allen. Ended up being a 4th rounder by the Raiders. Number 106 overall, physical freak coming on in. And also what's cool is that he donated $1 million to his alma mater, and they named the field after him. He's the only active player to have a football field named after him. It's fantastic, man. Also, the first time I saw the Eastern Michigan field on TV, after they turned to gray, I thought I was having a stroke. Turns out not. But Maxx Crosby, like we said, 4th-round pick in 2019, and has turned himself into one of the best edge rushers in the game. 57.5 career sacks in only 6 seasons, 12.7% career pressure rate, 3 straight Pro Bowls, as well as made 2nd-team All-Pro in 2021, as well as 2023, and he's just a monster. Gets after it. High motor, hot lunch pail, all the adjectives and stuff. Plus, here's what's interesting. So he got his big time extension, which is fantastic. 4 years, $94 million a couple years ago. $24.5 million base this season with $782K in per game bonuses. So prorated, the Vikings be on the hook for around $13 or $14 million. Remember, cap hits incur when the money is paid, so his signing bonus stays on the Raiders' books of $13 million. And then the Vikings have around $10 million, but there's always ways to find money, as in restructuring Brian O'Neill. He's a guy who always restructures, man. All right. And also, what's interesting is he's under contract for 2 more seasons after this year, with base salaries of $22.236 and $18.84 million respectively the next 2 years. And the Vikings have $76 million in cap space, so they can weather that storm. Also, his contract is guaranteed money, which is pretty common for most of these deals, where basically a 4-year deal is a 1-year deal with a sign and bonus up front. So he's definitely due for a new contract, but I mean that deal is very team friendly. The Vikings have some leverage here in that spot, but you cross that bridge when you get to it, right? And Crosby reasons to trade for him. 27-year-old premium pass rusher on a very team-friendly contract. Obviously, you'd want to freshen that up. But also, he loves the game, man. And his contract was below market value at the time. I just feel like he honestly reminds me of Everson Griffin in terms of his demeanor. Like he would play for $10 and a ham sandwich in the parking lot, right? He's scheme agnostic, can play 3-4, 4-3, stand up, hand in the dirt. He can play inside, outside. Very mature pass rusher, can win anywhere. And you see that where the Raiders have lined him up along all of the gaps, whether he's on a Y9 spot, 3-tech, 4-tech, 5-tech, even some nose tackle work in the A gaps on some passing downs. Basically, he's just a menace, and that's exactly why Brian Flores would absolutely love him, because just like, oh, where do we play him? Yes, I'm going to play Maxx Crosby anywhere, man. Also, sets the edge. He's a monster versus the run. A lot of tier 1 pass rushers, they ain't too concerned about the run. But Maxx Crosby is super physical up front, does the dirty work, which is great. Awesome in the locker room, immaculate vibes, so he would fit in with the culture here with the Vikings. All he wants to do is win. And he is so pissed off that the Raiders have basically done F all to improve this team outside of signing Christian Wilkins. The quarterback spots are a disaster. Devontae Adams got traded to the Jets. They're mailing in the season. They're taking a knee on the entire thing. So you could see why Crosby won out. He would. And also, trade for him so the Lions don't get him, because so many Lions fans are just like, hey, he was born here. He went to Eastern Michigan, Ypsilanti. Bring him on in, blah, blah, blah. Now, basically, you're playing keep away. And I understand that the trade cost would be pretty absorbent, which we'll talk about. But could you imagine this? Could you imagine this redonkulous? So, yes, you have AVG. Yes, you have Grenard. Yes, you have Diamond Dallas Turner, Patrick Jones, Hottie Ward, Bo Richter, etc. But just line Crosby up at 5-tech and just let him work. Put him at 3-tech on passing downs. Like, he will not care where he was lined up. All he wants to do is sack the quarterback, stop the run, be a good teammate, and win ball games. That's all he wants, man. That's all he wants. Plus, if you think about the future, after this season, Patrick Jones probably gone. You're probably getting paid big money somewhere else. Hottie Ward is on a 1-year deal. AVG is older. He's 30, and he's only on a 2-year deal. So you do have to think about the future as well. Grenard is only on a 3-year deal if you think about it. So, I mean, Crosby's only 27, and he's going to be good for many, many moons. And again, I understand that the Vikings are bereft of draft picks, especially day 2, because of the maneuvers in the 2024 draft. But remember, hey, the Vikings, add in Maxx Crosby. You take the best defense in the National Football League, you add one of the best defenders in the league, and then you just shake that up. Baby, you certainly have a stew going. So, I mean, that first-round pick is going to be 32 overall. Probably going to cost 2 first-rounders. So maybe say F that 2026 first-round pick or conditional first and a second. I don't know. I don't know what you do. But all I do know is that the Vikings need to make some major moves at the deadline. And I understand interior O-line, cornerback, defensive line, defensive interior, but just straight up getting one of the best defensive pass rushers in the game and a guy who will sacrifice himself for the team, just wants to win, and also will kick the ish out of the run as well. Baby. Kwesi needs to go all in on this thing, right? Because Flores, hell, if the Vikings trade for Maxx Crosby and then they give Flores all the money, like maybe he stays here a long time. I don't know, man. But Kwesi, one time, man. Just one time. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. The case for the Vikings to trade for Raiders star defensive lineman Maxx Crosby. Just do it. Just Howie Long rebirth. Why not? Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You know what to do. Skull Production Value.